So Andy Burnham has won the by-election in Macclesfield, so he's now vying for Labour leader. Keir Starmer has today announced his resignation. So what does this all mean? My view is that this is just shuffling deck chairs around the Titanic. I don't think it's really going to make any monumental difference to British politics. I think, amazingly, Keir Starmer managed to unite quite a divided nation in dislike for him. I think the left dislike him because of his complicity in war crimes, because of his the fact that he's reneged on every socialist or left-wing policy he was voted in on, and the right seem to hate him because of these conspiracies from the right-wing media that he was a socialist and filling the country with immigrants and all this sort of racist nonsense. But he certainly became very unpopular. He's actually the shortest-lived Labour Prime Minister in history, which is quite an achievement considering the mandate he had. The massive majority from the last GE, but we've said all along that it was such a thin mandate, like a sandcastle mandate, because actually in terms of percentage of the popular vote it was always very small. Now my fear with Burnham is that it's very similar. Like, yes, he smashed the by-election, and to be honest it was quite impressive. Before Burnham was selected, Reform were predicted to win 55% of the vote share, and Labour actually walked away with 55% of the vote share, which was huge. So the Burnham effect can't be underestimated in the by-election, but let's be honest, he's standing on similar pledges that Keir Starmer stood on when he ran for Labour leader, when he ran for Prime Minister. He said he was going to unite the left and the centre left, and then reneged on them all. But Burnham's actually started reneging on them all already. He's already said he would continue austerity, he'd continue the hostile environment, he will continue the use and increase the use of migrant centres. He said he's not squeamish about cutting welfare. He's reneged on his promises to support trans rights. He is refusing to call the genocide in Gaza a genocide. So this man is not a saviour of the left. So really the question is, how can we on the left get organised ourselves whilst Labour do their infighting? It's only going to benefit Reform, really. They've been saying, vote Reform to get Starmer out. They're going to claim this is a victory, and they're going to be pushing for a general election. We need to build the Green Party, and in building the Green Party, our next big contest is going to be the Manchester mayoralty, which is going to be held under single transferable vote, and which I think works in our favour, and I think we've got a really good shot of winning it. So I think I would urge the left to kind of unite together at the minute. Let Labour do their infighting. There's not a left-wing candidate in Labour that's going to be a credible option. So let's focus on winning the mayoralty for the Greens. Because that will be able to make a huge difference to lots of people's lives. It's also a really good way of consolidating our voter base up in the north of England. And we've got a fantastic candidate who's been put forward as well. So I think that's our next move there. And with regards to what happens with the Labour leadership election, I don't really care who is going to enact these same vicious oppressive policies, because it doesn't matter to me. That doesn't excite me. Neoliberalism doesn't excite me. Centre-right politics doesn't excite me. What excites me is the chance of hope and the chance of real change, and that is certainly not coming from Labour. So I think Burnham will win the leadership race. I think Burnham will be our next Prime Minister. I think he's then going to carry on in the exact same course that we've been steering along already. I think popularity in Labour will bounce back a little bit as he's elected, and it will drop off to the same levels within a year or two, and we'll be back in the very same place in time for the next general election. I think Labour won't survive this. I think they're still going to get a record low number of seats in the next general election, and the only thing Burnham could do to stop that is to dramatically tack left and reconnect with socialist policies and his socialist base, and he's made it quite clear that he's not going to do that. So I'm happy to be disappointed if he changes his mind and does so, but I really don't see it coming. One thing that is good news is that Reform lost, and now right-wing media are telling us that Reform are going to win all these seats, but they lost in the Macclesfield by-election, they lost in Gorton and Denton, they lost in Carefully. In fact, they don't seem to be winning at all. They don't seem to be breaking through. There is always more left-wing voters than right-wing voters. And I think that can't be underestimated. We can't be complacent. We still have to really plan and organise and build, because the right-wing are certainly doing the same. But even in this by-election, the Restore and Reform vote combined wouldn't have beat Labour. So there are a few things that are encouraging. But I think now our job on the left is to really unify organise and win. And our next fight is getting a Green Mayor elected for Manchester. So that's what we should do. Peace.